Hello and welcome to the Disneyland Family Podcast, Episode 4, coming to you live from the downtown studios in fabulous Riverside County. We're going to get things kicked off right away here today. So, Cindy, what are we going to be talking about today?
All right, we got some new stuff to talk about. After we finish the new stuff, we're going to start taking you through the park land by land. And the land that we're going to visit today will be Adventureland. But let's get started with the new stuff that's going on in the park first. All right, let's start talking about the holiday season. Holidays upon us. Things are changing in the parks. Closed for refurbishment right now is the Haunted Mansion. It's getting its Halloween Christmas makeover with Jack Skellington's Nightmare Before Christmas. That will be down, it went down last week and it is closed through the 11th, September 11th. That one opens back up. Am I right? Where's my notes? Yeah, that's right. And if it's not, too bad. No, I'm kidding.
No, she's not.
It's open either between the 11th or 13th. That's going to drive me crazy. I thought I wrote it down. Anyways.
Don't worry, we can cut that out in editing.
Yeah, who needs to edit? Anyway, that will be closed. Space Mountain goes down for its transformation of Ghost to become Ghost Galaxy on September 7th, and it reopens just 4 days later on the 11th. Pirates is going to get a little cleanup. They'll be closed from September 14th until September 30th. And then the saddest news of all is a closure of something that's never going to reopen, and that's Big Thunder Ranch. It's being closed for a good reason, though, because, well, if y'all are paying attention here to the news.
If not, why are you living under a rock?
But Thunder Ranch is going away to make room for the new Star Wars land. Now that we are excited for. We are really, really, really excited for Star Wars land. Just kind of sad to see Thunder Ranch go. Especially since that's where, like last year they had the villains where you could go meet them. We got to meet all the bunnies there. And the school's bands, they would play back there. So I'm going to kind of miss that area, but anyways. So your last chance to eat at the barbecue back there, to enjoy some school bands, just to enjoy the whole area is, if you want to pet a goat. That's it, the goat's going. I just thought about that. Yes, the goats are going.
The goats.
So anyways, your last chance to enjoy Big Thunder Ranch is January 11th, 2016.
So isn't it a day before my birthday? After my birthday?
Yes.
Okay, on my birthday, we must pet a goat.
Your last chance to fondle wildlife back then.
Dad, that's horrible.
Okay, moving on. Now, so we have the Star Wars land that will be coming, which we are excited for. But anyways, there was also something new that Disneyland put out, and that is their new app for the iPhone and for Android phones. I've heard part of the reasoning for this app was they want to, it's kind of a test as maybe something similar to the Magic Band, but for our park, I think they're wanting to test it with annual pass holders.
For people who don't know, can you describe what the Magic Band is?
Yeah, I hope we don't ever get them. Okay, so a Magic Band is for Walt Disney World's guests. And I would love to hear from somebody who has one. I'd like to know if it's more of a rubbery material or if it's more of a hard plastic.
Comment down below what it's like, please.
Yeah, please describe the material, because then I'll know if I really, really am going to hate it. But anyways, what the Magic Band does is when you're in the park, then you do not need to whip out your credit card. You don't need to whip out a pass. Your Magic Band holds all your information for payments. It holds your reservations, your fast passes. When you walk into the gates of the parks, you just fling your little bracelet in front of this little sensor, and boom, you're in. Same thing for your fast passes, everything. You just wave your bracelet, and I guess it sounds like a great idea. But I just don't like the bracelets. I don't know. And then also, we don't have to plan so far in ahead. I don't think it's that much of a pain pulling my ticket out, but...
Well, I think for you, the problem with, and a lot of people who deal with chronic pain or disabilities, well, not only that, but you're locked into a schedule on the Magic Band. You schedule your whole day, basically. So if you have a bad day and can't go, or you start running behind, all of a sudden your entire trip is off now because you can't do anything that you have planned on your Magic Band.
Mm-hmm. That's why, and the people I have talked to in Disneyland about if ever planning a future trip to Walt Disney World, I would need a month. Just because if I have a bad day and miss out on what I've planned ahead, I want to have a day somewhere out there ahead to try to redo it. Where that's not a problem at Disneyland. It's more flexible. But even with those disabilities, like wearing bracelets is hard. It will bother me after a while. I cannot stand it, and it will add to my pain. I'm allergic to latex and rubber, so another reason I want to know the material that these things are. But I guess I'd have to hang mine off my purse or a necklace, which I wouldn't even want a necklace on. I don't know. But anyways, I think what they're trying to do is something like that where we would just flash this app eventually. My issue with that is they're going to have to increase their internet service in the park for that to happen. I have always a crappy connection when I am by the Haunted Mansion. When I'm by the Haunted Mansion, the only thing I can do is text and make phone calls. There's nothing else. On a low crowd day, I have full access to, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that throughout the entire park, again, except for that area by the Haunted Mansion. Now, we tested the app out on our last visit, which was last Sunday, and I had a connection to the app the whole time. But even when I had zero connection to anything else, like Facebook or whatnot by the Haunted Mansion, I still had access to the app, but it would start flashing, telling me I have a low Wi-Fi signal. I'm like, well, yeah, I do, and that's not my fault. But other than that, I did have access to it. Did anyone else have problems accessing the app?
Not the app per se. I had the same problems you did with coverage, and the busier it gets, the more people are connected to those cell towers, and the harder time you have getting an internet connection. I actually have a work phone and a personal phone. The work phone is through Sprint, and our personal ones are through T-Mobile. And Sprint seemed to get the worst coverage out of the two. And I think we've determined that AT&T has the best coverage there, but obviously we don't have AT&T. So, just a little tip there, if you are planning to head to the park, AT&T has the best coverage, T-Mobile not too bad. Sprint, you might want to look for other way to connect to the internet while you're in the park.
Yeah. Basically, though, the app is really awesome. We normally would use mouse weights in the park, but again, that requires an internet connection. And on high crowd days, we wouldn't be able to see anything anyways, except for in those spotty areas. But with the Disneyland app, you not only get the wait times for the rides, which mouse weights gives, but it puts it out on a map, so you see the park. You can see you can look to the area that you're in and see the rides, which is great for someone new who maybe doesn't know the names of all the rides. They can just kind of go to the area and be like, okay, and find what they want, see the wait times, but you can also stalk the characters.
That's the best part, is stalking the characters. Don't take that too seriously, but maybe do it nice.
Instead of, just hoping to run into a character in an area that you've heard they may be in, this app tells you exactly where they are, and it even gives you some wait times for them. So that's pretty cool. That's a great way for us to find out there's a different character in the park that we haven't seen.
Yeah, that would have been handy. A few months ago, my brother-in-law and his son were out, and we were trying to find Goofy. He was a big fan of Goofy, and so we were looking all over for Goofy, and finally found him at the end of the day. But Boy, it would have been nice to have that app and just know, okay, Goofy's back in Toontown, so we can head back there and get that knocked out. So that's a great feature we really like on that app.
Mm-hmm. You can also look up all the restaurants, see where, again, find what area you're in, or what area you think you're going to be in later in the day, and see what's over there where you're going to want to eat lunch or dinner, and you can look that up. My issue with the app, with that part is, like I said, for the dining reservations, unless you make it ahead of time, in the park would be a little harder depending on your service, because it does take you out to the internet. You leave the app. But, oh, wait a minute. Where was my thought? Sorry. Okay. But where Mousewaits beats the app on this one is Mousewaits gives the menu. Disneyland, hello! Why did you not include menus with your restaurants? Come on. Keep us out of the competitors' apps. We were going crazy the other night. We're planning our Thanksgiving meal. We're trying to figure out where we want to eat for Thanksgiving, because we will be there in the park for Thanksgiving this year. We're looking through, trying to pick which restaurant between the, something either in the hotels, the district, or in the parks. Well, we're finding all the names of the places we want to go, but there was no food. No menus. Not only that, most of them don't even list the price. They just put the dollar signs. I'm like, okay, but if you don't give me the code for the dollar signs, this does not help me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to go into some of these restaurants sometime and just hand them a picture of the dollar sign. Here, it says it takes one of these to pay for our meal, so.
$3 signs.
Yeah, $3 signs. Here you go. So.
Yeah, but overall, I am impressed with what they have started, and I'm hoping this is just a start of it. I do not believe that this can replace the passes. Again, not only because of the whole Wi-Fi issue with the park that needs to be boosted, but also because that means somebody has to be able to keep their phone alive all day, and that's not always possible, especially on high crowd days. My battery will drain like crazy. On a high crowd day, I can recharge it with my portable pack 3 times, still have it die before we leave the park completely. But yet then I have a low crowd day like we did last Sunday. My phone lasted not only all day, got me home. I only had to charge it once. Plus, I was able to charge several of you guys throughout the day. But I can't count on that. I would not feel safe relying on my phone as my virtual pass.
I wouldn't feel safe either.
Yeah, so I don't see it as a replacement for anything, but I see how it can make a great enhancement to your visit. All right, well, that wraps it up for the new stuff. All right, well, actually, that was almost all of the new business out of the way. Just a reminder about our Mystery Magic Boxes. It's a subscription service, or you can just purchase one at a time. Also, if you do subscribe, you can cancel at any time. There is no long-term commitment for that. A Mystery Magic Box, what is that, you say? Well, each month we go shopping in the park and we pick fun little souvenirs that can only be purchased in the park. And then we put them together in these surprise boxes, kind of like a grab bag. You order it, it's delivered to you once a month. A bunch of fun little things to keep the Disney excitement alive throughout the year. So be sure to visit the disableddiva.com, where you can follow the link to order them. Otherwise, look on our Facebook and our Twitter pages for information as well. Also, there's going to be a change to how we're posting on our Facebook page compared to our Twitter page. Until now, I've been posting the same stuff. But now I'm going to give you a reason to follow us on both. A lot of the facts and stuff that we want to share that we've learned, I'm having a hard time fitting some of those under 140 characters. So the shorter facts and little tidbits, those are going to go on Twitter. The ones that are going to take me over 140 characters, those are going to be on Facebook. So follow us on both, and I promise you're going to see different information on both of those social media accounts. All right, well, let's get started on Adventureland. We're going to take you through the area. Only one thing we're going to leave out is Tarzan's Treehouse. We're going to include that in the next podcast with the New Orleans area. So with that said, Drew, where are we heading first?
Hello, and welcome to the Enchanted Tiki Room. I am your host, Tiki Drew. We will be talking about the Enchanted Tiki Room today.
Okay. So, Tiki Room. It's a great place to relax and cool off in the summer. Nice cold air conditioning.
Here's an interesting history fact for you. The Tiki Room was the first building or the first attraction to have air conditioning at Disneyland.
Really?
Yes. It is also the only attraction that has restrooms attached to it because it was originally designed as a restaurant.
No.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
See, that's the kind of fact I couldn't get into 140 characters. And that's the kind of fact you'll be seeing on Facebook. Anyways, yes, the Tiki Room. It's great. The flowers, wait, was it the birds sing and the flowers croon?
My whole life I thought flowers bloom. I've been lied to.
No, you just need to get the earwax out of your ears.
I don't have any. I don't have any ears.
Okay. So anyways, the Tiki Room. Okay. It is handicap accessible. Let me explain about the Tiki Room. There's an outdoor waiting area to begin with. And then once it's open, you enter in through the doorway. But there's 3 or 4 steps to go in? I think, yeah. 3 or 4 steps to get up in there. For those of us that use wheelchairs, we can't do those steps. You have a choice. I mean, if you can do the steps, go ahead, leave your chair, and then you can come back for it. But if you need the chair inside, which I do because my back muscles can't handle sitting on the benches, even though the benches do have a little bit of a back to them, it's not enough for me.
Some of the benches do, the ones around the edges. There are benches in the middle towards the center of the room that don't have any back support, yes.
Oh, I thought they all had them. Okay. Well, anyways, they do have a wheelchair lift to take you up into it. Let me warn you, it's tight. I guess if I didn't have a full backpack hanging off the back of my wheelchair, my poor husband would have room to, get in a little closer to me. But he doesn't, and so he's, really kind of squished. Because if you have 2 people, and that's all you can fit, really, is a person and then the wheelchair. Even with that, I have to turn my feet. If I don't, I will lose my toes because the wheelchair has to be all the way to the front. Best is if it's just the wheelchair and that person in it alone, then there's more room. But if they require assistance, then yeah, you have to have the other person, and it is tight. But once you're in and up there, it's fine. You can park wherever you want in there and still sit next to your family and everything. Then same thing, you will have to go out the same way that you came up in there. So the last time we were there, we had a very special treat. I have never experienced something like this. Usually, I enjoy the show. I love it. It's not something I do every time, more so when we have guests come with us. But when we did have a guest with us, our son was in town, so it was like, let's go to the Tiki Room. Well, when they did their pre-show announcements, we started looking around. We're like, this sounds like a recording. This sounds like Jose, almost like Jose the Bird doing the announcements.
To me, it almost sounded like the Honest Trailer guy or the CinemaSins guy.
This person was just amazing, and then we realized, we saw it. There was a live person doing this spiel before the show. I'll let Drew share some of the crazy things he said, but it was amazing. I thought it was better than the whole show itself. This man, if he is not a professional actor, needs to become one.
Yes, he had a very deep voice and was doing the announcements really well. Very articulate, very...
No smoky.
No smoky, yes.
You can eaty.
You can eaty and drinky. But yeah, this kind of turned into, how on the Jungle Cruise, it's kind of your guide that makes that ride. The jokes the guide tells, how into it they are. I never really thought of the Tiki Room as being that type of attraction, but this guy just made a huge difference. He set the mood, and it was really entertaining.
Yeah, he was just amazing. So again, this is what I always tell people. I don't care how many times you've been to the park, I don't care if you say, "Oh, yep, I've done that. I don't have to do it again." No, you never know. Every time we're in the park, the experience is different. So like I said, that was really added, and I hope to hear him again someday, and I will take my chances going in there more often for a chance to hopefully hear his spiel, because he was amazing. So one of the perks to going to the Tiki Room is that you do not have to stand in that long line for the Dole Whip. You get your own private line inside the Tiki Room waiting area. So you can have access to your Dole Whip, then you can start eating it before the show starts. And like he said, yes, you are allowed to eaty in the in the room, so you can take it on in with you. Like I said, great way to bypass the long line that's always outside the Tiki Room area for the Dole Whips, because they are so popular. I'm allergic to citrus, so I'm not allowed to have a Dole Whip, but I will sneak a taste now and then because, they're so good.
Yeah, if you've never experienced a Dole Whip, basically it's Dole pineapple juice. It's like an ice cream float with Dole pineapple juice. They also sell the ice cream in a cup on the side if you just want that, or if you just want the juice alone, you can get that as well. But just really great treat when it's hot out and you're trying to cool off. Excellent.
Just a quick correction. If you want the Dole Whip, go for the Dole Whip float. If you just want a Dole Whip, it's the ice cream thing.
Yeah. Also note, they are very, very sweet. Everyone I have been with, when they've had one, they all admit that that's a thing to share. It's too sweet to eat an entire one themselves.
Yeah, speak for yourself. I'm more than comfortable eating an entire Dole Whip myself. So.
I'll eat 4.
Okay, well, I won't. I'll have one bite maybe once or twice a year so I don't die. All right. Now, since we're talking about food, we're going to move over to the Aladdin's Oasis. I'll be honest, I've ignored this thing. We've walked by it a million times. Then I started seeing the whole Fantasmic Fantasmic and a meal to go deal. And when I first saw it, I thought, well, that's a little overpriced. It's $22 a person to take a meal away and get a fast pass for Fantasmic. Well, as you know, there is no monetary value to a fast pass for Fantasmic because, well, anybody can get one. There's no value to them. So I was like, that doesn't, I don't know, it just seemed crazy. Well, now, we did notice this last time, they do have the dining room open to Aladdin's Oasis, so you can eat in there, or you can get the meal to go. Then I started seeing what the meal what it consists of, and it's not a bad deal. For $22 per adult, you get a main course. I think there was pasta, there's chicken, some good-looking food. We're not talking just like, it's not chicken tenders. We're talking nice, beautiful chicken breast. You have your sides. Dessert is included, and so is your drink. So you can easily spend $22 on a walk-up service anywhere else per person for the same. You're not going to get that much food. So it is a pretty decent deal. Myself, it's too good of a meal to go sit down on the ground and eat. I think I would want to stay in there and eat. Which we went in there and oh my gosh.
Beautiful.
It is amazing. So I do hope to eat in there someday soon. Our favorite place to eat, though, in Adventureland is the Bengal Barbecue. Now, it is a walk-up stand. That one is perfect for, take that food and go sit down and wait for Fantasmic before your viewing or whatever. It's because, first of all, there's really not many places to sit near it. But the food there is amazing. I'm going to let Drew describe the food, since he's our foodie.
Yeah, the main main menu item is the skewers here. They have a chicken skewer and a couple of different beef skewers. They have a Banyan beef skewer, which is, I believe that's the one that has a Zulu sauce, which is a little bit more tart. They also have a sweeter beef skewer, and then the chicken skewers, which are kind of in a Polynesian sweet sauce. They also have tiger tails, which is their breadsticks, which are really nice to share. They have pretzels there. They have bacon wrapped asparagus.
We have fruit cups too.
And fruit cups, yes. So quite a few options there. Nice little snack, fairly inexpensive, about a little over $5 per skewer, so not too bad. Tiger tails, I think, are $3.
Tiger tails are to die for.
Yep, it's a little serpentine type bread roll thing that they put butter on. It's very good. So that's just one of our favorite places to grab a quick snack, or even if we're waiting for a parade, I've gone off before and gotten stuff from them and brought it back to the group. So, anybody else have anything on the Bengal barbecue?
They're amazing. Go get them food. Go get food from them.
Yeah, that is one of our favorite things for walk-up stand food there. All right, so let's move on to the Jungle Cruise. Later in the year, we'll talk about the Jungle Cruise again when we talk about the holidays, just because it does transform for Christmas, but we've got some time for that one. But we're going to talk about the Jungle Cruise itself. I'll also start off first with the handicap portion. To enter this attraction, you will not go through the normal queue with your wheelchair, or if you have a desk, you will go to the exit. And you'll see the little wheelchair sign behind, on a rope, and you'll just wait there, and then the cast member, they'll come over and they'll let you know how long of a wait you have, or if you're going to need a return time, and they'll guide you on how to get in. You do need to be able to transfer out of your wheelchair. If you need the wheelchair right next to the boat to get on, they will do that and then move the chair over. But no matter what, you need to be able to step into the wheelchair and then to walk into the boat. But basically, that's really it for the handicap portion of it.
Yeah, and as I was saying earlier, the thing that really makes this ride is your guide. The guide leading you through the tour. If they're really on and they're hitting their marks and they've got some good shtick, put together, they really make the trip. One tip I have is the majority of the action or the visual things on the ride happen on the right side of the boat. So if you're boarding, if you have the option, I would enter from the rear if possible. There are two entrances to the boat, one more towards the front and one more towards the rear. The one towards the rear, if you enter on that one and then sit with your back against the edge of the boat, you're going to be able to see more of the attraction that way. Just seems like most of the stuff is happening on the right-hand side of the boat. So.
And this is a great ride for people of all ages, adults and children. I don't think this is one that ever scared Abby. I think she's...
I loved it.
Yeah, you've always liked that one. But, of course, it was not a dark ride. It's out in the open.
It had animals.
It has animals.
Jokes.
Get to see the other side of water. The backside of water, that's right.
Get the jokes right. You've been on it enough. You should have it burned in your brain.
I swear. Well, not only that, I should be able to say everything that the tram says and all the rides say in Spanish all the times I've heard it, but I can't. Nino, that's about all I remember. Nino and gracias, which sounds like grassy ass when they say it, but whatever. That's all I can remember. Lord help me. I'm never going to Mexico. Okay. Now,
How do you know?
on to our final ride that we're going to talk about for Adventureland. Dun 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 dun. Indiana Jones.
This is what you get with a cheap podcast. We have no budget for actual soundtrack, so we have to make our own.
Buy our mystery boxes so we can buy a soundtrack.
Also, we can't because of copyright.
Anyways. All right, Indiana Jones. This ride opened in 1995. I remember this because it was my son's 5th birthday, and we went specifically for this reason. We get there, the ride was closed the entire weekend we were there. It was grand opening weekend, and the ride wasn't open. Yeah, it was fun. But 2 years later, we were able to go on it. And now, of course, it's a family favorite. We all love Indiana Jones. Before we go into more on the ride, let me just describe the handicap way to go into it. You have two options with this ride. First of all, rarely, except on low crowd days, you'll be able to go in. But most of the time, as long as there's more than a 15-minute wait, you're going to have to either get a return pass, a disabled return pass, or get a fast pass, and then you don't have to worry about that either. So fast pass or disabled return pass. No matter which way you go, you still will not go through the normal queue. You will go through the handicap queue, which can look a little confusing because everyone's swarmed up there, but just look for the ropes with the little wheelchair sign. Go on up there, and then the cast members will guide you and tell you whether you need a return pass or whether you can go straight on down. But you will be entering through the exit. A little warning on this. Going through the exit with a wheelchair, it's annoying because everybody who's coming off the ride, their faces they're looking down. They're going through a dark tunnel for the most part to begin with, too. They're looking down at their feet, or they're looking at their phones. They're not seeing you, and you will run into them. So you need to be very careful going down through the exit. What?
Also, there are very large hills in there, and very kind of just...
Well, there's hills in that one, but it's nothing compared to, it's a Bug's Life Theater or soaring over California.
True. Just make sure you're not a weakling pushing a wheelchair, or else...
Yeah, you need to...
If you're like me, just, yeah.
Yes, I love how the person in the wheelchair decided it wasn't a very big hill. I think the two people who are pushing the wheelchair would disagree with that assessment.
Especially the 13-year-old who has no strength.
That's it. Get to the gym, kid.
Someone help me.
All right. So who wants to start talking about Indiana Jones and share what the ride is like?
All right, so the basis of the ride is you're going through the Temple of the Forbidden Eye. You're in a Jeep-type vehicle, and you're not supposed to look at the eyes of Mara, the idol of the temple. I'll tell you this. Here's a secret. Every single time we're on this ride, someone looks into the eyes of Mara.
I do.
If they would just not look in the ride or in the eyes of Mara, the ride would be fine. There wouldn't be any problems. But no, someone always looks in the eyes of Mara, and you go on this horrible, terrifying ride. So I'm still waiting. Someday we're actually going to get to just have a nice, gentle Jeep ride through that ride. But no, someone looks in the eyes of Mara, you make a hard left turn and go into the temple. If you've seen the Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, it's kind of similar to that chamber. There's a giant skull in there. And then they play out different scenes or not so much scenes, but they have different aspects of each movie in there that you interact with. And the ride cars are really... interactive. They're designed, they have hydraulics in them, so you move, and actually the car kind of mimics your human reaction. Like, you see Indiana Jones and you kind of stop and hesitate, and then you lurch forward a little bit like you're hesitating. You go downstairs and it feels like you're going downstairs. So really great technology in those cars there.
It definitely doesn't mimic a fangirl, but I remember the first time I went on it, I was very scared, and my dad told me not to look in the eyes of Mara, so I'm like, okay. I kind of just closed my eyes and ducked my head. I wasn't prepared for all the jerking and everything, so I stayed in this little ball, and by the end, my dad goes, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "I thought you passed out." I'm like, "No." But when I came back, I really loved it. So, yeah.
As for the handicap experience, I did forget something very important. Once you are all the way down through the queue and you've gone through the things with the cast members, and they finally get you into the final part of the queue, there's this crazy elevators. Their loading system is really bad for the handicap. I wish they would just load us from the exit point. It would be so much easier, but no. If you are able to leave your wheelchair, which they will try and push you to do, you then have to take stairs and stand for a little, or stand for a little while, because you do have the option to take this elevator that I do. They hate the wheelchair going over there, and I see why. There's not a lot of room. But I can't stand that long to sit there, to be able to stand there and wait for them to get us on a ride. I need to be seated during that time, so my wheelchair has to come with me. So to use this, there's this insane elevator system where you go into an elevator, you go up, exit that elevator, walk down a little hallway, enter another elevator, and go down. And then you enter the loading zone. And then, of course, you have to repeat this going out, into the elevator, up, over, and then down another elevator. This elevator is insane. It's very narrow. When you push in, because there's doors on either side of the elevator. So you roll in, your toes are going to slam into the door that's going to open when you get to, whether you're up or down, wherever you're going to go to. Again, keep your toes in, because your wheelchair has to be all the way to that door for anyone to squeeze by you to get to the space that's for people who are standing. And it is just, I said, it's awkward. It would make more sense just to load us and unload us from the other. The other thing is, when the ride is over, that means we do not get out on the same side as everybody else. We have to get back out into the loading area, which confuses everybody, including 99% of the cast members. They will fight us. No, you go that way. No, we go this way. Wheelchair. It's gotten to the point we don't even explain. We just yell, wheelchair, and then they finally, it'll click and they'll let us in that way. So if you are using a wheelchair to load over in the regular loading area, be sure to remember to get off in the opposite direction that everyone else is. Also, keep an eye out. Watch your cast members, especially when they have new ones. We've had it where they've stuck some single riders in after we've gotten on, and we've had to climb over each other. It was just kind of a bumbling mess. So don't let them stick a single rider after you. If they want to stick a single rider in your line, have them get into the vehicle first. That way they're able to exit in their direction and you can exit in yours.
Also, the elevators aren't nice if you're scared of elevators.
Yeah, she does not like the elevators, but she's getting better. She doesn't cry in them anymore.
And the person's with me.
She's gotten better. I wouldn't put her through the elevator thing if she didn't love the ride so much. Yeah, so she's fine. She'll live. She might be in therapy when she's 30 for it, but Oh well. There's worse things to be in therapy for.
Breaking her into Tower of Terror very slowly.
No. I'd rather die.
Oh, all right. Well. Oh, one other thing I want to add about Indiana Jones, especially for people who are like me and do suffer from a lot of muscle pain or whatnot, whether it be fibromyalgia or my muscles. I thought I was going to have to give this ride up when we first got our passes up, because every time I went on it, I was hanging on tight with my arms and my neck would seize up. And I was like, I don't want to give this ride up. Well, I came up with a way I didn't have to. I just don't hang on. Hands are in the air the entire ride, and by doing this, my neck no longer seizes up. And so that's great. And because I'm working my core to keep myself, pretty much stabilized, I'm also ripping adhesions because I have, abdominal adhesions. So I'm taking care of two issues there, and I still get to enjoy the ride. Well, that's it for this podcast. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope the information helps make your next trip magical. And in the meantime, don't forget, if you're missing that Disney magic, order a mystery magic box from the disableddiva.com. Our special Halloween themed boxes will be shipped out October 1st, so you still have time to order yours now. Until next time.
All right, everybody. Thanks. And as they say in Star Tours, Bye-bye.